We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Nick Barris on this Wednesday. Two great guests with us talking Latin American music here in Music City. The number 737-7587 if you have a question or comment, or maybe you just want to sit back and listen this morning. Manuel Delgado, Rachel Rodriguez, it's great to have them both on. I'm having a lot of fun and learning a lot, and I really appreciate you both coming on. You know, we were talking about some of the better known artists one way or the other. You think about, Ricky Martin. What about the El Gran Combo, salsa music? Are you guys familiar with them?
And they were just here not that long ago.
Okay.
They were just here a few months ago. And my percussionist, Dan Sherrill, we were playing a show at Sambuca. I play there frequently. Yeah. And he was like packing up and he was getting ready to go to that show at Plaza Mariachi. So Plaza Mariachi and Nolan's and Roll brings in a lot of Latin artists, big Latin artists that we might not normally see.
They're Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
So they come in. What about, all right, and then, I'm just trying to think of some of the names that just folks who aren't schooled in this may think. I mean, Richie Valens, was that Chicano rock? And what is Chicano rock?
I call myself like a Chicano rocker, or like my friends here, La Rockera. Like I'm the rocker girl. But yeah, I mean, I think that might have been initially the big introduction, and how he did it was brilliant by taking a traditional mariachi song and putting some guitar on it, and people loved it, even though they couldn't understand what he was saying. I think that was really one of the first big introductions of Latin music in a way that was digestible and easily, embraced at that time.
It went really mainstream to some degree, or at least became aware to a much larger cross-section. That's what I'd like to see happen here in Music City as people discover it. If you just go listen at one of these places, if you go to Ruby's or something like that, you're going to have a ball. I mean, it is different, though, is it not? I mean, when they go, when anyone goes, especially if they're not used to it, they're going to hear something different, perhaps, than they will hear at Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, right, Manuel?
Well, absolutely, and I think Rachel is a great example of an artist that, because we're not one-dimensional. Right. I think sometimes somebody sees a culture or an individual, and they assume, all people, we were just talking, not everybody with brown skin who speaks Spanish is Mexican.
Sure.
We have people from all different parts of Latin America here. And then Rachel, as she said, she's second generation born in the United States. I'm first generation born in the United States. We both grew up singing with our parents, but I also grew up in LA, being, Chicano, also listening to gangster rap, to heavy metal, to everything. I mean, I was, when, Compton and all that rap scene was happening, that was my youth growing up. Mm-hmm. So I have a foot in two different cultures, if you will, the U.S. culture, and then my Mexican heritage and our music as well. So you're going to hear a combination of all of that. Rachel's a great example because her music is influenced by both artists from Mexico, but different parts of Latin America, and a huge amount of artists here in the United States, as well as artists that she could identify with. We were talking about Linda Ronstadt earlier. So, yeah. I mean, and that's a great example of who I think Rachel is vocally, what she does.
Talk about that, Rachel.
Linda Ronstadt is like my number one for female artists. Right. And I identify with her for so many reasons. Well, one, I loved her before I even knew she was Mexican or came out and said, hey, I'm, Mexicana, because she sang rock and roll. She could sing jazz. She sang country music, and she had the beautiful trio with Emmylou Harris and Dolly Parton, and their voice. I mean, it was just, she did all genres and she did them so well. And then when she came out with Canciones de mi Padre and really told the world that she was Mexicana and sang beautifully with her emotional voice, and it was just, I was like, what? And I fell in love even more, and I was able to identify with the singer that grew up in a similar, being Chicana, Mexican American, and blending all of those roots together and identifying with all of it. and I just I was even more of a fan. Like I said, I got that CD out. My dad bought it for me, and I played it over and over, and I looked at the lyrics and memorized every single song on that CD.
Yeah, like you said, you discovered that, and a lot of people didn't even realize it. And Linda Ronstadt belongs on the Mount Rushmore of singers. I mean, she's just one of the great. And you know what's sad, by the way? You've seen she doesn't sing anymore. She can't.
No.
Which is very sad.
I
think she lives in San Francisco, and I mean, the woman is a legend. But that's a great example that you used there. You mentioned rap just a moment ago. There are Latino rappers, are there not?
Oh yeah,
plenty. I mean, a lot of them.
Plenty of Latino, and a lot of cross genre. You know, Ozo Motley is somebody that I really.
Oh, I love Ozo Motley.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to, you know, we knew them when they were teachers and they were customers of ours. You know, and these are guys that do a fusion. There's, you know, straight up rap, especially a lot of the that reggaeton that we were talking about earlier. You know, you hear a lot of that influence and a lot of the Latin rap that's coming from maybe like the Dominican Republic or Cuba or different areas like that. Of course, in Miami, you're going to have a great fusion of all those different cultures. So, but you were talking about Latin artists, you know, Los Lobos, who are phenomenal. Again, you know, great friends of mine. You know, my grandfather and my dad, they were customers of theirs, and they're like my tios, they're like my uncles, because I've known them since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Los Lonely Boys, Freddie Fender, Rick Trevino, a lot of, you know, Richie Valens is Richie Valenzuela, but he changed his name to Richie Valens so that he would fit in with the mainstream. You know, so there's so many people that you don't even realize. Some of them we call them undercover Mexicans because they're light skinned, blue eye. They have that German heritage in them, that they were born in like Mexico City or somewhere like that.
Oh yeah, you know, this past weekend, I mean, maybe got lost in the shuffle the fact that the Rolling Stones were here, but I think Pitbull was here. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, I believe he was here He was here, yeah, this past weekend, and wow, what a busy music weekend this was. You know, you have your normal music scene, which is wonderful, and then you have the Rolling Stones, you have Pitbull, and so much more. But Pitbull would be someone as well that, you know, Latino rapper, I suppose?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as the scene keeps. So I'm trying to think about just for the best way to go. You know, for me, sometimes going to these places and hearing the music, especially if it's some type of Latin music or whatever ethnic type of music, I like to combine it with food. Wherever it may be. And maybe, you know, what kind of places locally would you recommend people where you can go? And you talk about Ruby's. I don't know how big of a menu they have there one way or the other, but I mean, it's a wonderful jazz place and what you can hear there. But what places would you recommend for folks to go if they wanted to listen to some music and maybe even get a bite to eat of, you know, genuine Latino food? Any come to mind for you? Where would you go?
Well, to get both of those things together, there's still not a whole lot of places.
Right.
Of course, Plaza Mariachi, they have entertainment, especially all days on Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays of all different, Sundays, every Sunday they have mariachis every Sunday, and then they have folklorico dancing, and then they have the grocery store attached to there too, like the little market, the mercado. But they also have wonderful eateries, different kinds of food, not just Mexican food, but you know, they have Peruvian food and different Tres Gauchos that they have there too, Argentinian food. And so that's a great place to take. Oh, and I love elote. That's my favorite. They had an elote place there.
How about you, Manuel?
And Mas Tacos in East Nashville. Mas Tacos in East Nashville has the best elote. I love their elote there. I might have to go there for lunch today.
See, you're making me hungry.
Elote is corn, just so you know.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so when she said Mas Taco, what do you mean corn? So it's going to be Mexican corn? What do you mean corn? Or you're talking about the corn tortillas?
No, the corn on the cob, and it's done differently. It's seasoned
I've had it. Where it's seasoned, seasoned a certain way, right? It's the seasoning that's on there, right?
They put a sour cream on it, chili pepper,
that's awesome.
Cheese.
Yeah,
absolutely
so good.
Awesome.
So good.
So look at this. Do you have any suggestions? Where do you go eat, Manuel? And I don't know if there's music there as well, or what do you think?
You know what? I'm not going to tell you where I go eat.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because then people start asking for salsa that isn't as spicy, and then I can't get spicy salsa there anymore.
Oh, you like the spicy stuff, huh? All right.
Oh, yeah.
I do too.
If you want to be respectful of the culture, eat the salsa or just bring your own little bottle of tomato sauce, whatever.
I love that.
That isn't spicy.
Well, it's not all super hot, because I like hot stuff too. Some of it's a little too much for me. I'm like, how hot is this really? I know, I got you. All right. Hey,
not enough for us.
Right. I guess another part of this that we left out, maybe, when we talk about the music, and we touched on the food, but I think, Rachel, you mentioned too, the dance. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the dance that goes with this music? Or, obviously rock and roll, you can do as you please. It's free expression. But are there other dances that sometimes you would say, go? You mentioned polka earlier when you're talking about the accordion, but what about dance? How does that tie in?
You want me to go?
Sure. Sure, I'm sorry. We have two of you. I should say who goes next. Go ahead.
Well, in recent years, there has been places to a lot more places to go salsa dancing, which is a partner dance. But there's also different. You also have bachata. You'll hear find a lot of that, and that's all couple dancing. It is all couple dancing. More of the reggaeton stuff is more individual, kind of like hip hop, like you would normally, dance alone to. And then you have the ballet folklorico, which is beautiful. And like Manuel says, Mexico is not a state, it's a country, but within it, there are different regions and different states. And the styles of music change, and also the different dances changed on the regions, and the costumes will identify where that region or that state, what that state is by their dance. Yeah. Right, Manuel? Is that correct?
Yes, that is 100% correct. Yeah, that's one of the things that we love. When we brought Mexico en el Corazón to the Skirmahorn, one of the great things that they do in their performance with the dancing is they also play music from the different region. They have a projector that is shown above, so you see like maybe they're doing music from Veracruz, and then the outfits that would be known from that area with that dance, or maybe they're somewhere near El DF or Guadalajara or different areas, and they're wearing the outfits that are from that area. It's a great way to educate people. I love that we were able to do it at the Skirmahorn, because it immediately, people who came to hear this music, a lot of times they associate it with maybe like peasant or bar music. But when you come to a location where it's a place kind of commands that kind of respect, and you hear this music, suddenly you look at it in a different light. And what a lot of people don't realize, especially in mariachi, is most of those musicians are classically trained. For example, my first love, I was brought up on classical guitar. Yeah. So if you ask me what my favorite genre of music is, it's classical music. And I still, to this day, I play classical guitar. I love to listen to the Mozart, or all these different artists or composers and different artists that are performing this music, whether it's with guitar or with a full orchestra. And you're gonna find that in a lot of these musicians where they have this enormous training in their background, and they just adapt it to whatever genre they're currently playing.
I think that's fantastic. Listen, we're going to take a break. And by the way, you're right about the outfits. Some of them are so colorful, just absolutely beautiful. We'll take a break. When we come back, we just have one more segment. So everyone's clamoring for you guys to play more music. So I'm going to shut up, and we'll just play a little bit more. Yeah, Manuel, you're going to have to strum some more. Grab another one of the guitars there, and we'll just hit us with some other music. And we'll do that as soon as we come back in our final brief segment here. So stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.